I spotted Rick sitting in a truck waving at me. He had his 3 dogs with him, whom he had named Mo, Larry, and Curly. They were strays he had found and adopted. It was hard to tell what mixtures of breeding made up their genetic content. It was assumed they had the same mother, but it was hard to tell. "Hey, Rick, what's up?" I asked when I jogged up. Rick was a grizzled old Vietnam veteran who worked at the farm with me. Technically, he was my boss. He was a little past 60. A hard life, along with generous amounts of alcohol and cigarettes, had etched deep lines in his sun-damaged face. It appeared he had been going on a week without shaving. Felix jogged up a short time later and said hello. Rick ignored him. "I need to get you to the hospital. Your grandmother's had a stroke." He looked over at Felix. "Your gay friend can come too." Felix started to protest, but I spoke first. "What happened?" I asked. Rick looked at me as if I was stupid. "I just told you. She had a stroke." He stared at me a few seconds more before he felt like he needed to elaborate. "The postal lady found her lying in the backyard and called 911. I don't know why they didn't call you at school, but the neighbor seemed to think you were at work and called there. I got the phone call." He looked around and took a swig out of a pint of cheap whiskey. "Look, get in and I'll give you a ride to the hospital. We'll figure it all out when we get to the hospital and talk to the doctors." Felix opted out of going with us and agreed to drive my little Ford Ranger truck home, but made me promise to call him the minute I knew more. He nodded, gave me a pat on the back, and trotted off. I walked over to the driver's side. "Slide over. I need to drive," I ordered. It was hard to gauge Rick's level of sobriety or lack thereof. Rick snorted. "I ain't drunk, you smart-ass kid." "Come on, Rick. You just got your license back. You don't need to get arrested again." Rick snorted again, but after putting up an obligatory fuss, ceded the driver's seat to my smart and sober ass. We rode in silence. Rick was listening to a talk radio station. The host was rambling on about government conspiracies. I tuned him out. Grandma was unconscious when we arrived. I was met by the doctor before I could get in the room. "How is she, sir?" I asked tentatively. He did not answer me, at least not right away. "Are you her only living relative?" he asked pointedly. I shrugged. "You are under 18, I'm guessing." I nodded. He looked over at Rick, probably smelled the alcohol, and redirected his attention back to me. "She's had a massive stroke. She was probably lying outside for a while before being found. Her body temperature was very low when she came in. With her age and poor health, the prognosis is, He did not finish the sentence. He did not need to. I looked past him into the room. She was hooked up to some monitors. There were at least 2 IVs in her arms, and there was a tube shoved in her mouth. She looked terrible. Weak. Mortal. On the drive over, I was strong, in control. Not now. I felt tears welling up. The doctor put his hand on my shoulder. "Are you sure there was no other family, son?" I wiped my eyes. "My parents died in a car wreck when I was young. She took me in. My father has family somewhere in Sweden, but I've no idea how to contact them. There might be some cousins out there somewhere, but I've never met them." I did not tell him that my dad's family had disowned him years ago before I was born. I looked at the doctor. "Our only income is my job at a farm and Social Security. We'll never be able to pay the hospital bills." He held his hand up. "Don't worry about that. We have policies in place for indigent patients."